In the following set of tutorials, we're going to take a look at using symbols in creative ways. Now, let's create a new document. Do File, New, and it should come up with a blank document like we have here. In order to create a symbol, we can go to any of the tools. I'm going to go ahead and use the rectangle tool or so, and click and drag. And if you want to change your settings, it might be helpful. I'm using a somewhat neutral fill, as well as a thick stroke. And the reason why is because I really want to be able to see them when I am working with this symbol. Now, in order to turn this into a symbol, I have a number of different ways. The first thing that you want to do is completely select it. Now, if you have a shape such as this, and I know it's a shape by when I select it, you'll see it says Shape in my Properties. If you have a shape, a couple different ways to select it. If you double-click on it, it will actually select all of the different strokes and fills that are part of that one shape. You can also click and drag around the entire shape to make sure that it is selected. Make sure that you don't select just part of the shape. You want to make sure that you get all the way around it. Now that we have that selected, we can turn it into a symbol. One way is by right-clicking and choosing Convert to Symbol. You can also access the same thing by pressing the F8 key. Or if you go to the library, you can click and drag a selected object into the library, and you'll see I get a green line around the library, and that will actually make a symbol. Now, this will come up with the exact same box as if I press F8. Now, I'm in the advanced view. Let me go to basic view. This is what you might see. And we have three different types of symbols. The type of symbol that you should be coming up with is the movie clip symbol, and that is your typical type of symbol that you want to use. Now look at the registration point, and you can see that we can put the registration point in the top left, center, bottom right, or any of the other places. Typically it's in the top left. For the purposes of this tutorial, it might not really matter until later, where we get to using very particular symbols. So anyway, I'm going to call this blue box, or maybe just sample box. Now that I have that selected, I'm going to go back to the Properties panel instead of being in the Library panel. You'll see in the Library panel that object is now there. I can actually click and drag a couple out while I'm there, just so I can make a couple copies or instances of this symbol. Now if I go to my properties, you'll see when I click on this individual instance, you'll see it says right here it says instance of sample box. It shows me that it's a movie clip, and it shows that it's being treated as a movie clip. In the library, it also has an icon here that shows that it's a movie clip. So it also tells me some other properties about it. The X and Y, the position that it's at currently, and then its width, 93 by 96. So all of them should have the same width and height currently. Now, another thing that can be important is the transform panel, which shows me right now that this is at 100%, 100%. So it's showing me the other coordinate systems here as well, the X and Y. And of course, we're not using Z right now, which is 3D. Anyway, with these symbols, I have a few different ways that I can alter these symbols physically, and I want to show you those first. The three different ways that you can basically alter them are by scaling, rotating, and skewing. You can see these three in the transform: scale, rotate, and skew. If I go to the free transform tool, with a symbol, you can let's see, first scale an object, and you'll see that I can scale it just by clicking and dragging any of these corners. Now, if you want to make sure that it stays constrained, hold down the Shift key as you scale. With the next object, I'll go to it, and I'm still on the free transform tool, and if I get to the outside, then I can rotate it. And on the last one, get to the edge, and you can skew it. And you'll see that the numbers here are changing. Now, one of the things that's also important is this point here in the center is the rotation point, or the transform point. If I move that point, you'll see that any transform that I do will now be from that particular point, even if that point is completely off the object. And that can be very, very important. When it comes to animation, you have to know where that point is. Let's go ahead and save our work and go on to the next tutorial. When you save, go ahead and save it as indicated in the assignment.